What is good, YouTube? It's your boy OG Notboy back with another video, and in today's video I'm going to be going over a team that I got from Yasser Elite's channel, and this team consists of Shadow Dragonite, Medicham, and Galarian Stunfisk. And I've been running this team with some pretty successful results in the Open Great League, so without further ado, let's get into these battles here. So the ELO wasn't shown in the first matchup here, but these battles are played in the 2700 range. So first match we have the Sableye lead, and I usually just throw on CMP even if they decide to kind of not throw on CMP and sneak in a move, since I don't like making the first shielding decision, and half the time they do throw on CMP anyways, or more I'd say. So I kind of don't like taking the risk and not throwing on CMP and having to make the first shielding decision. Since you are Shadow Dragonite, you're going to be shielding just about everything. So I'm going to bring in my Medicham here, and then it ends up baiting out the Medicham in the back for them. So now we're going to be able to have the alignment that we want. We have our Medicham on their Medicham, and now we will have our Stunfisk on their Toxapex. So, I mean, we could also just stayed in with the Dragonite, let them farm us down, and then we would have had our Galarian Stunfisk on the Toxapex as well, and then also had our Medicham on their Medicham. But I figured that bringing the Medicham in would bait something out in the back, just because the Psychics do super effective damage to the Toxapex. And at this point, the opponent is going to see that we have our Galarian Stunfisk and concede the match. So next match here, we have Dragonite into Bastiodon. So this is kind of rough, but I end up winning most of these when I swap in my Medicham, assuming it is the Victory Bell and Medicham backline. So kind of how that goes usually is I'll bring the Medicham in, and then I'll get two shields with the two shields with the Ice Punches, and then I'll farm down with the Dragonite, and then swap instantly into my Stunfisk, take out the Medicham with my Earthquake, and then like a Dragon Claw farm, or Dragon Breath farm down rather, with my Dragonite, and then I get to hit the Bastiodon with a superpower. But in this matchup here, I kind of make a mistake and try to call the bait, and they send a Psychic my way, so they're able to win Switchback here, and I basically have to shield this move if I want to maintain my Dragonite at all. So I'm going to shield the move up here, and it ends up being a Tropius in the back this time, which is kind of unfortunate for my Galarian Stunfisk, just because it is a lot tankier than a Shadow Victory Bell. So this is going to be hard to pull off here, so just going to spam the Rock Slides here, but we're taking a lot of damage from the Razor Leaf. So this is kind of a rough position to be in, but in general, Bastiodon, you can win if it is the Victory Bell Medicham line, just because of like how I outlined it before. If you play it that way, swapping in the Medicham and getting both shields, farming down with the Dragonite, and then swapping instantly into your Stunfisk to get an energy lead on the Medicham, like, you definitely will win that matchup, because I'm pretty consistent with that. But if it does happen to be a Sableye Medicham or a Trevenant Medicham, then it becomes a lot more difficult, just because they will be able to hard counter your Medicham on the swap with the Sableye or Trevenant, and then kind of take you out there. So still made it close in this scenario here, but this is kind of an uncommon line regardless. So most of the time you're going to see the Victory Bell and Medicham backline. So next match here, we have an Altaria lead. So how I like to play this out is I just stay in, and then I throw the Dragon Claw, since you do beat them to the Dragon Claw before they reach their Sky Attack. So I'm going to grab a shield here, and then this puts our Galarian Stunfisk in a pretty dominant position, since we can just soak up all the energy. But in this scenario, they just swap out into their Lantern, so this works out quite well for me. So I'm going to shield this move here, since a lot of times when they do swap out like that, like they, well, I don't know actually, like I just kind of feel like my Stunfisk does have a lot of value in the back. So I'm going to actually bring in my Medicham, and we'll see how this play ends up for me. So they're going to throw a Thunderbolt here, but all I need to do is reach a Psychic to just about take them out. But they CMP time me, And I actually didn't know that Medicham lost CMP to the Lanturn here, but we're gonna get the Psychic off, and then a couple more counters, and we're able to simul KO. So now we have the Galarian Stunfisk left against their Galarian Stunfisk, and also their Altaria too. So they are able to catch the move on the Altaria, which is kind of unfortunate for me, but just about takes them out anyways. We only have to tank one move from the Altaria. And now though, it kind of comes down to a guessing game here on whether the opponent is trying to bait me or not. So right here, I'm going to call it, and it is a Rock Slide, so now I should be able to win this match here, but a little bit more difficult than it should have been. A common pairing of Altaria and Steel, you know, is pretty common. Just like any Dragon and Steel is common, like I'm running even, so should have known that it was a Stunfisk in the back or another Steel type, and kind of just stayed in with my Stunfisk against the Lanturn, but I made it a little bit more complicated than it should have been just by playing it out the way that I did. So next match, we do have another Bastiodon lead, so maybe I'll actually get to showcase what I was talking about before, but in this case, it actually is a Roserade, so kind of weird that in this set here, we've seen two Bastiodon leads with unconventional backlines. So gonna go for the Ice Punch, and then I'm gonna go for another Ice Punch here. So let's see if this takes the last shield, and it does. So probably gonna play out similarly to how I outlined with the Victory Bell lead anyways. Like, we're gonna farm down with the Dragonite. So I might, okay, I decided not to shield that first move, which is pretty risky in case it is a Sludge Bomb, but good thing it ends up just being a Weather Ball. So able to tank both of those. And at this point though, we won't be able to reach a superpower on the Bastiodon, and we just switch instantly into our Galarian Stunfisk. So I'm going to let the first move go here, because I know it is a power-up punch, and subsequent power-up punches will be doing a lot more damage. So gonna get the Earthquake off. Gonna have to beat them to the next Earthquake, which I'm pretty confident that I can do, especially if they are throwing the power-up punches, since each time they do that, I'm able to sneak in one Mud Shot. So gonna go for the next one here. So gonna be able to get this off, and thankfully we do double resist the Smackdowns here, which allow us to get to quite a few more of the Mud Shots. And that may have been the difference between winning and losing this game, just because we were able to get to the superpower there and take them out. So I think that barely just didn't take them out, because you saw the damage that it did in the last match. So next match here, we have a Medicham lead. So once again, I'm going to throw right on CMP, and as you can see, I'm correct. Like, a lot of times, these guys really just do throw on CMP, despite the fact that they are going to lose it. So I'm going to shield as well. So I'm going to stay in here, of course, and play this out. I'm going to CMP tie them on the next like Dragon Claw as well, but they actually decide to switch out into the Noctowl. So this works out well for us, just because we do have a favorable matchup against the Noctowl with our G-Fisk, but here I'm going to catch the Sky Attack and farm up a bunch of energy on my Dragonite before swapping out. So here I'm going to overfarm quite a bit, since most likely the Medicham is going to come back into my Stunfisk. I want to leave this matchup with a lot of loaded energy to be able to threaten them with an Earthquake quickly. So I'm going to throw the Rock Slide here, and this is going to take out the Noctowl if they decide to let it go. So we're going to be 2 Mud Shots away from the Earthquake, and they decide to CMP tie us. But unless this is a Psychic or a Dynamic Punch, it won't take us out, and I don't even think a Psychic would take us out from that range. So we're going to be able to get the Earthquake off, and they have a Drapion in the back, so this should be a GG, because we'll be able to either damage them quite a bit or take a shield with this move, and then our Medicham with the counter damage and an Ice Punch should be able to take out the Drapion here. So gonna no shield the first move, just in case it is a crunch that ends up debuffing us. So that's exactly what happens there, but not gonna matter. We do hit the Ice Punch, so we should be able to get it off here. They go for an Aqua Tail, but since it is CMP, we do get the Ice Punch off, and we're able to not quite KO, but one more counter will do the trick. So overall, able to go 4-1 in this set. And as you can see here, after claiming the rewards, I'm going to be around 2760 in this at this point in time. But my elo has dropped since then. My previous video, which I put out, I was in the 2400s, and I think I dropped all the way down to like the low 2400s, like 2401 on the dot, during the Electric Cup. So kind of rough for me, but I've been using this exact team to climb out of there. So over the past couple days, I've gone from 2400 back into the 2600s so far with this team. So it still works, and I would recommend giving this team a try for sure if you're still trying to climb in the Open Great League. So that's all for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and also submit your battles in the link in the description below, and I'll see you in the next one.